The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows Monday through Friday from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville. And for 1 hour, from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham. With me today is Mecca Music. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. We got a lot to get into. Cameron Smith will be with us from AL.com. We'll talk with him about a couple of things, including the next Trump indictment, maybe the next one after that. And I've got a great parting shot for you as well. But for now, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, let's talk about it. It is the big news of the week, this week, because last week it was even getting indicted for something else. This case, as some are saying, I talked to U.S. Attorney Jay Town, a former U.S. Attorney from the Northern District of Alabama. He said, this is crazy. He said, this is by far one of the weaker cases that has been raised. There are jurisdictional issues, and there are a whole bunch of other issues involved as well. 19 total people, including the former president of the United States, indicted for various things, including the vicious act of asking people to watch Newsmax because they were going to have something going on there, or OAN, or Right Side Broadcast Network. And I would argue that should be a crime, but it probably is not. Mecca, answer this question for me.
Yes.
Is this where they get them?
Okay, so I knew that this is what we'd be talking about, and you do your typical, is this where they get him? Because it's gone on and on and on, and there have been so many instances of charges against Trump, accusations made, things like this. And so what I did this week, because I knew we'd be talking about it, I started doing some informal polling, okay? Of known, maybe not the diehard Trumpers, like, you know, the people that you say Trump could slap their mother and they'd be fine with it. Not those guys.
Wow.
But Republicans.
Sounds
You're
like
the one who said that.
It sounds like something I would say.
It was. You said it on this show.
Okay.
But I was talking to a few people and just trying to say, and here's what they said. The perspective, and because of this, is this where they get him? Because it's gone on and on.
Yeah.
They're not even paying attention. It's just another witch hunt to them, okay?
Yeah.
But ask them if they're going to vote for Trump. No, I'm not voting for him. I'm like, well, what if he is the Republican presidential candidate? Oh, yes. Then I'll have to vote for him.
You just described me. I mean, that's literally it. I mean, that's exactly how I feel about this, and I think a lot of people feel exactly the same way. Like you said, so much stuff has happened here. It's one of those things. If there's smoke, there's probably fire, but there might also be like an arsonist, that someone has set the fire. And they've been trying to burn him down since he came down the escalator. They've been trying to get him. He has given them plenty of ammunition.
Right.
Has he given them anything criminal? In reality, the document stuff, I think most people agree there's something there, the obstruction of that. The rest of these things, why is it happening now? She wants to set the date. She said this week she wanted to set the date the Monday before Super Tuesday to start the thing. I mean, come on. It's naked politics.
Well, see, and that's exactly the perception of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that's the perception, even if these are serious, great charges and Jay Town thought they really had a chance to stand, it doesn't matter because the perception has already been set.
He said the same thing. Jack Smith would probably should be pulling his hair out because this hurts his case and the other things that he's doing. But they also think Jack Smith hurt himself, some do, by bringing the second tranche of charges there in D.C. because he had the document stuff. But anyway, all right, let's talk about redistricting. Let's talk about hurting yourself in this situation. The three judges who said, go back there and redistrict this. The Republicans said, sure thing, wink, and then decided that they were going to put up some maps and then not even be able to really defend them. Now, I'm taking what happened in that courtroom and what's been reported at face value. Not a great day for Alabama's Republicans. They didn't look too good there. Now, again, I think they followed the law as it was written. They were told to go back by this court. The Supreme Court backed them up. They're going to have to do that. I would argue this is not going well for them, and it looks like what we're going to do is probably end up exactly where we all knew we were going to end up. This three-judge panel is going to have someone draw the maps. It's going to be more friendly for Democrats. It's going to get challenged by the Supreme Court, and then there's going to be some question about what happens there. But This is not going well. Okay.
I agree, not going well. But as far as for Dale and saying exactly what was going to happen, it's going well for you. You're completely right. You've called this since the beginning.
Right.
I know you maybe wouldn't want to be, but you are completely right in the situation and you've called it from the very beginning. This is what's going to happen.
They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to redraw these searches. They were not going to look. This is how I looked at it. They were never going to draw a map that gave the court what they wanted. Never. Why would they do it? So
the instructions, though, that they were given, and the guidelines they put in place for them themselves, as in keeping Mobile and Baldwin County together and things like that. I mean, it's not going well.
It's cracking and packing. That's what they talk about, and I think the court. It's weird. It's like the court has said on these issues, various courts. We're using a broad term here. They have said, okay, look. You cannot racially gerrymander. You cannot do that. Do not racially gerrymander. But you need to racially gerrymander. You need to absolutely racially gerrymander or you're going to be in trouble. Don't racially gerrymander, but you better racially gerrymander. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is not what happened. Is that not what happened?
I mean, I think there's different definitions for both instances.
I want you to racially
gerrymander. That's a longer show.
I want you to racially gerrymander without looking like you're racially gerrymandering. However, you better have this race in this pot. Okay, so there you go. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Twinkle Kavanaugh. She is the president of the Public Service Commission. She voted against an Alabama power project. And a lot of the criticism you hear about the Public Service Commission is they just go along with whatever Alabama power wants. I don't agree with that, and this is a perfect example of this. She talked about this project that they're suggesting. And ready? I'm going to give you some science here. Ready? It's complicated, but this is how it works. Big mountain, put water here, up in one upper reservoir, less water in the lower reservoir, and then you let the water flow down and it generates power. When you need power, you send the water back to the first reservoir and then back down. That's correct. I don't know why you're shaking your head. That's
a terrible.
It's the explanation. But here's what's funny about it. In AL.com, they had a story about this.
Yes.
And it said it would generate like 7 million something of watts in order to do that. And then it would take 10 million to pump it back up to the thing. The whole thing, it sounds insane. It sounds completely nuts at this point. The technology isn't there. We don't need to be the guinea pig. That's why she says she's voted against it.
Exactly.
And then peppering in a bunch of stuff about socialists and stuff.
Right.
Things like
but to your first point that the PCS is kind of just stands for Alabama Power. Obviously
that's
not.
What people say, yeah.
And also the fact that there's also been the issue of what's going to happen to these properties in this area, Chandler Mountain. I mean, this is a big deal for people who live there.
And we're going to take your land and we're going to do something with it.
I mean, and that's never a popular move.
Hope your cows can swim.
That's never a popular move. But that really wasn't Twinkle's point. Her point was like this is nutty.
It's not there.
A nutty plan.
It's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about this. And I did do the explanation correctly.
It was so good.
It was so good. It was science. But I would say if it worked, you would have perpetual power forever. I mean, if you could do it at a lesser cost, you just keep doing it always. You wouldn't need it. The reason they do this, this is long form here, but the reason why they do this is to back up the wind and solar energy because it's inefficient. So they want to have a backup that's also inefficient. Greta Thunberg would be very upset by this conversation. Let's move on and let's talk about General Dickinson. This guy has lied. Did he? That's been the accusation. Did he lie about Space Command? Here's what happened here. This is not going to require that much of an explanation. He told members of the Alabama congressional delegation that there is zero reason for Space Command not to come to Huntsville. Then he bought a ranch for $1.5 million and said, maybe you should stay here in Colorado where I just bought my ranch. He bought the ranch before the decision was announced. And then when the decision was announced that they would be keeping Space Command HQ in Colorado, they said, it was General Dickinson said to keep it here. And the other people at the Air Force said to move it. And then he went back to his $1.5 million house and laughed and laughed and laughed. Look, I find this amazing.
It's so amazing. And do you remember like a week or two ago on the show, you're like, oh, this poor guy, he's in such a position. And I was sitting here thinking like, do you not read OTR?
Oh my
like
God.
This guy has hated Huntsville and been against Huntsville from the beginning.
256today.com, off the record. Mecca takes things and publishes them off the record. There you go.
Well, we have a writer who.
Well, not Mecca. I'm just talking about you're the CEO, so you got to wear that. Okay.
So the point is that yes, listen, and he was here for a while too, as part of one of his positions. And there are a ton of stories out there. This man was already not popular here. He is certainly not popular now. And a no-show at SMD.
They should have cut him a land deal. Maybe it would have been. Maybe it would have been interesting. I mean, we laugh and we joke around about this, but this is right up to the border of corruption. I mean, if you heard about this in any other way, where somebody bought the land right before the decision came that he recommended. If he buys that land and the spaceman doesn't go there, I'm not saying this happens, but there's a possibility that land value drops. And if spaceman comes there, there's a possibility that the land value goes up. So you buy it before it happens. General Dickinson. All right, thank you very much. Is that thing over? I mean, yeah, we could talk about it till we're blue in the face. But it's over, right? The decision.
I will never be tired of talking about this.
I'm not saying that, but.
Never. So it's never over for me.
I mean, Joe Biden's son is a crackhead, corrupt guy.
They're not recovering.
Recovering crackhead, corrupt. He's not recovered from his corruption. This is like that. So Joe might be like, why would Joe Biden have a problem? He'd be like, oh man, I wish that was my kid. All right. When we come back, Cameron Smith will be with us. We'll talk with him about some of these things and a whole lot more. Stay tuned.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them. I love them. Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook. Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Here's an important message from the U.S. Med Diabetes Solution Center. If you have diabetes, you know the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce your pain right away. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. Call the U.S. Med Diabetes Solution Center to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. If you have Medicare or private insurance, call to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. Shipping is free and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. US Med is the #1 rated supplier on Google and Facebook reviews. So call us right now to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. US Med. Better service. Better care.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. And our guest today, Cameron Smith from AL.com. Oddly enough, my parting shot is also about AL.com, but not about the same thing. But let's talk with Cameron Smith. We got a lot of things happening here. Cameron, you're a lawyer. You are also a columnist. You do a bunch of stuff. Talk to me about this case in Georgia. A lot of people have raised the issue that this DA, that stands for District Attorney, not dumbass, is out here making the argument that you can charge people for things that happen in other states outside of your jurisdiction if it's part of a giant RICO statute. I mean, doesn't that change the game up a little bit? What if the Madison County DA wanted to charge Joe Biden's son for, I don't know, smoking crack and screwing around with prostitutes?
Well, I think there are questions about the DA's reach in Georgia. The bigger challenge that she's going to have is she said, well, I intend to try all these people together. Wow, that's a lot of people. I don't see any way that happens. And more importantly, I wonder what the level of coordination is with the Department of Justice, because Jack Smith is saying, I've got a case going. I charged Trump and was hoping that, hey, I could work with these other unindicted co-conspirators to make my case. And now you've charged every one of them. You've burned the witnesses. And so that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on his cases. And I think the challenge here for prosecutors is that is a sweeping indictment in Georgia. It is a monster of a case by any stretch. And in the process, the prosecutor has to walk jurors through every component of each conspiracy and show that, hey, there was a criminal conspiracy that was here and all these people were somehow connected. I'm worried she's probably going to lose jurors along the way, because all Trump has to do, all he has to do is introduce reasonable doubt. And so I think she's got probably the hardest burden of anybody not named Alvin Bragg in pulling this off.
Cameron, you touched on some of the other ongoing cases that are happening as well. Look at the broader picture for me. Dale and I were talking about this earlier. So the perception of these indictments, are they making an impact with voters?
No, I don't think they are in terms of where voters are now. Signal, which is Brent Buchanan, had some great polling out that said there's about 25% of the Republican Party who it really doesn't matter what Trump does or what's thrown at him. They're with Trump regardless. There's a chunk about the same size that are open to hearing from other candidates. And then, as we've seen from the polling, right about half the party is looking for other options. I don't think that these indictments at this point, whether you have one or four, make a huge difference. Where I do think that this becomes a problem for Trump is this is the initial stage. This is the indictment. These trials are going to start moving forward, and they're going to build, and the cases and defenses are going to be made. And that's when I think Trump's going to realize, man, if I win this primary, I'm going to have a real tough time pulling in those independent voters in states like Arizona and Georgia that I need to win the White House. And the question is, does that come into the play of voters' minds after we have a couple of debates? Right now, the rest of the Republican field isn't doing enough to say, hey, we're viable alternatives to Trump. In fact, everything's either I'm Trump light or I'm anti-Trump, but everything's in reference to Trump right now in the Republican primary.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to have to burn him down in order to beat him, and anytime they try to do that, they just set themselves on fire. I mean, it doesn't work, and you just better get ready for nominee Trump, because I think that's where this is going. Cameron, let's talk about redistricting here real quick in Alabama. Did they even try? I mean, I know that sounds very flippant, but they basically said, here, you need to do these things. You need to not racially gerrymander, but I do need you to racially gerrymander a little bit in order to give us these numbers. And the Republicans said, nah, I don't think we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make this. We're going to make you guys draw the maps yourself. That's how it read to me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've written as much. I mean, this was a big punt by the legislature. Instead of drawing two narrow majority black, not majority minority, majority black districts in Alabama, and coming up with a game plan to compete for both of them, they went back to the court and said, cool, we've enacted a map that makes Terry Sewell's district radically less majority black, but we haven't created a second majority black district. The court's like, did you just ignore it? And now we're going to have a special master. They're going to draw the maps, and they're not going to be drawn with a Republican viewpoint and a viewpoint for Republicans being effective in the elections. And I think this is going to only benefit Democrats. And I think what you're going to see is 2 Democratic congressional representatives because the Alabama legislature didn't do its job.
Cameron, are we heading towards a Mobile-Baldwin County split?
Almost certainly. I think you're going to see, because there's not enough black population in that second district, just with the Wiregrass and Montgomery, the city of Mobile, I think, likely ends up carved off, and you do see that district split. I think this benefits Jerry Carl because I think he will have a very good chance of retaining that district down on the coast. I think the representative that's likely done is Barrymore.
Yeah, I mean, what's Jerry Carl going to say? No, bring those Democrats back. I want them in my district. I don't really see that happening. I would liken the response by the Republicans here to responding to an email without reading it. Like they saw the headline and they wrote a quick response and fired off, and then the person said, "Did you even read this thing? Do you even know what you're doing here?" Before we let you go, Cameron, you got a piece coming on the blue collar song. Okay, we've seen this everywhere. It's a hot song. It's all over the place. It could have been played at a Tea Party rally or what do they call those things? The Wall Street rallies, the Occupy Wall Street rallies. It could have been played at both. It is, and it's getting a lot of play right now. Where is the appeal here? I hear political song and I immediately think cringe. That's what I immediately think. Why is this so appealing to people?
Well, first, Oliver Anthony has a great voice, and that alone has its appeal. But it's very much a flyover country anthem, and it's saying, hey, these folks in Washington and the Richmond north of Richmond is what he calls them. They want to control you. They want to know what you do and what you think. And I think that just connects with everybody. It's not a Republican or Democrat thing. It's hey, these guys are peeing in my ear and telling me it's raining, and I'm tired of it. I don't like it anymore. And this song just connects with them the same way Jason Aldean's Try That in Small Town connected with them. And I think folks need to start paying attention, because when this many people are disaffected and it's not necessarily along partisan lines, that's a real political opportunity. And I think, frankly, a lot of folks need to start paying attention or they're going to find themselves out of a job in politics.
Yeah, I think it's the populism thing. It's the same argument, same thing that got us Trump. I mean, really, and besides Hillary Clinton. The populism thing, I think, is very much relevant here, and I think you're going to hear a lot more from this guy in the future. Cameron Smith, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us. Mecca is about to go, so the show is going to get so much better. Parting shot coming up next. You're watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them, I love them, Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook, Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes, because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay, and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you, new and pre-owned. They got it for you. universitykia.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. I'm going to get to the parting shot here in a second. Tommy Tuberville continues to take the slings and arrows, and it's a rather interesting story still to this day. We'll talk a little bit about that. First, though, let me tell you about YellowHammerNews.com. Let me tell you about the 7 things you should be talking about today every single day. I went to a Snoop Dogg concert this week, and when I got home, I still typed up the 7 things and sent it out, and everyone got it. Don't go read that one. It might have a lot of errors in it. Go check it out. YellowHammerNews.com. Sign up today for my email blast, and you will enjoy it. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get to that parting shot. My parting shot this week is directed at my good friend John Archibald at AL.com. What a swell guy. He won a Pulitzer Prize, if you don't remember, during the Doug Jones and Roy Moore situation by basically calling up his friends at the Washington Post and being like, hey, can I copy that? And they said, yeah, but don't make it look too obvious, okay? Don't do that. And he basically told the exact same story, and the people at the Pulitzer Prize were like, wow, that's amazing. Hey, here, have some money. And that's what they did. Doing the same thing here. This is the same argument that we are seeing once again from our friends at AL.com. Cameron Smith, of course, excluded, punching up at Tuberville. Now, they're allowed to do this. They absolutely should be covering this story. But when you're taking on the United States Senator claiming he doesn't live in the state and then saying the deed is in his wife's name as if that's some proof that he doesn't live here, it is laughable. I think the deed for my house is in my wife's name. Do I live here? I think that might be the case. It is an absurd argument, and it is just meant to basically go after him for disagreeing on the Pentagon's abortion policy. Now, again, I think it's worth noting, Tuberville has said over and over and over again, have the vote, change the law, have the votes on these guys, do it. It's not him holding this up. And as a pro-choice Alabama talk show host, he's right on the issue. He is correct. The law says you cannot spend money for abortions. Change the law or stop doing the policy. That's the argument. That is in its totality. Chuck Schumer can vote on these things anytime he wants. They can change the policy anytime they want. And to have people at the Pentagon spokespeople, getting involved in this kind of politics is a little unnecessary and untoward. It should not be going down. And then the media, political media in the state just follows right along with whatever happens there in D.C., and that's a mistake as well. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week.